Somebody asked me the other day, why are you dancing before your power hour? And why are you dancing with all your meetings? With today's, and especially here in South Africa, we have a lot of issues with our power and our safety and a lot of things. A lot of things. So just to bring you into the now, at here, at this moment, you cannot think about yesterday or even 5 minutes back, because when you're dancing, you're in the moment. And then you cannot think about the future because you're in the moment. So that's the reason why I love dancing. Dancing makes me younger and beautiful. So, so my beautiful ladies, thank you so much for being here today. I had a few ladies that said I cannot be here because of the load shedding. And Kishiba, you are from Trinidad and Tobago. We have a lot of problems with our power, as I explained on Thursday. So there's a lot of ladies that said I want to be here, but unfortunately with the power they cannot be. So I'm just gonna, there you are. So I'm gonna introduce Dennis. So, my beautiful ladies, when I first saw Dennis for the first time, I was taking pictures for my husband's archery page. I said to him, I will go everywhere with him with the archery if I can do my thing and I can wear my hat, because I am not an archer, and you can just hear so much about archery, then you want to run away. So I was watching and I saw Dennis is shooting with his mouth. So first of all, I didn't know. I know another person, but I didn't see it. And then I had to position myself so that I can see Dennis. And for me, this young man was a start. I was like flabbergasted. He was cool and calm, and he shot. He had a beautiful score. And afterwards, I asked if he can come and inspire us. So, my beautiful Dennis, thank you for coming to inspire us, and I will give it all over to you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Sanet. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak to you, ladies, and to tell you my story. Uh, when you approached me, you didn't know that I actually am a 5-time cancer survivor. And a lot of people think I lost the use of my arm because of the cancer if they hear about the cancer. But that wasn't the story. That was because of a motorbike accident. But I won't go into all the details. I'll just touch some points, and I'll give you guys my life story, because I use my life story to motivate other people. Because if I motivate other people, that's what's motivating me. That's what's driving me. Now, the first time I was diagnosed with the cancer, I was 10 years old. And it's called a pheochromocytoma. It's a very big word, I know, but it's a cancer tumor that grows on the adrenal glands. And it gives severe migraine, high blood pressure, diarrhea, excessive sweating, those kind of stuff. Now, the doctors had to operate. At that stage, there was nothing like chemo, wasn't a thing yet. We didn't know about chemo in South Africa. So the doctors had to operate. And at that stage, they actually told my parents that it's a 50-50% chance they don't know if I'm going to make it. And they also said that I'm not going to make the age of 20. I'm 34 years old today. So yeah, that's a base. And the other thing they also told my parents is that I won't be able to do contact sports. I won't be able to take punishment on my body. And that's how it was until I went to high school. And then they said, okay, they're going to give me some rope. My health is well, everything is good. If I want to, I can choose what sports I want to do. And so I ended up doing wrestling as well. When I was 16, I was ranked 7th in South Africa in my weight division. And then the cancer came back for the second time. it actually hit me the hardest through all of the 5 times. That the second time was the hardest. I couldn't, it was since the doctor said, okay, the cancer is back, I must stop my training immediately. Because when you train, your body gives off adrenaline. And that's food for the cancer. It grows on the adrenaline. So I had to stop my training to reduce the chances for the cancer of spreading. And actually, in about 2 weeks' time, I couldn't even run 100 meters. Then I get chest pains. I couldn't even do 10 push-ups. And to put it in perspective, my average was 54 push-ups a minute. My personal best was 59 push-ups a minute. And then in 2 weeks' time, I couldn't even do 10. That's how weak it was. It was the month of November, and the doctors told me I have a 5% chance of making it. I won't see the end of the year. So at that time, they couldn't give me the chemo because they said the chemo is going to be the cause of killing me. My body won't be able to take it. So there was a new thing that they tried in South Africa, MIBG, where they actually inject you with radiation that attacks the cancer cells. And they said, okay, we can try it. We don't know if it's going to work. With your cancer that's so rare, they don't know if it's going to work. They haven't tried it enough on this type of cancer to assure us. And then we said, okay, but that's all that's left. The operation was out of the question because I had my body was actually, the tumors were all over my body. I had 2 in my upper leg, 1 in my lung, 2 in my upper arm, left arm. I had 1 on my brain. So then I started to get that treatment, and luckily it worked. It was for longer than about 2.5 years almost, and then it went into remission again. And yeah, then everything went well until one day, literally a day, actually a couple of hours before my 20th birthday. I had Sunday lunch by my mother. One of my friends was on his way to my house, said he will find me there, will get me there. So I got on the motorbike. I drove to my house, had an accident. And at that stage, I thought it's something small. The paramedic still came to me. I was lying there in the street after I went too fast around the corner. I was speeding. It was all my fault. So the medic came to me, and I actually told the medic, no, I feel I've broken the ribs, broken my arm, and I think I had tore some ligaments in my foot. And then he looked at me and he said, no, it's worse than that. And then I realized, okay, this is serious. But then I still didn't know about the arm. I thought, worst case scenario, I'm going to the hospital, maybe getting out in a wheelchair, I will recover, everything's fine. And that wasn't the case. I had to get a big operation. They had to take me in an ambulance through to Unitas. My left lung collapsed. I broke my foot in 2 places. I broke my arm, broken ribs. I cracked my 5th vertebrae. So, yeah. And then I had on the way, just before we entered Pretoria, the ambulance pulled off the road, and they were busy in the ambulance. My mother was sitting behind the ambulance. They didn't know what was going on. For an hour, they tried to stabilize me in the ambulance because I had a full epileptic seizure inside the ambulance. And yeah, I survived that. And to be honest, the recovery from that accident was harder than all the times I had the cancer, if you count them together. I suffered from depression for almost 2 years. And that's why I love archery so much. I was very depressed. I didn't see a positive outcome. Every day, I stood up every morning, hating myself for what I did to myself and what I did to my friends and family. Because my upper body was my everything. And I was left. I was left-handed. So I forced myself to be right-handed. And then the one day I was sitting at work, got home, and my grandfather actually sent me a little article out of the newspaper that he got out of the Beeld. And it was a guy shooting with one arm. And he was from the club in Middelburg. And then I said to myself, but if he can do it, then I can do it. I must just find out how. And I said, I want that guy's number. So I contacted him, Henny Meiberg. I contacted him. So met him, he talked to me and my mother, showed us everything, how he's doing it. And then I said, no, but I want to give it a try. And we actually bought over one of his bows. He took me with, he showed me how to do it, how he's doing it. And I practiced and I started to like it. And he sent me or he actually took me to a competition. And the first competition I actually shot, and I saw how I'm motivating able bodies. It actually changed my life. It started changing my outlook on life. It made me, again, I felt like I was worth something again. I meant something in life again. And that's where archery changed my life. And it was 2010, the cancer returned again for the third time. And I had a couple of treatments. Luckily, it wasn't that bad. I had a couple of treatments. It went into remission again. In 2011, I broke 3 SA records in archery. So I stood up, I recovered, I went through, I broke 3 SA records. In 2012, the cancer returned for the 4th time. And then that was actually an amazing thing, because the cancer was there and I had one treatment and it was in remission again. It was like, wow, we didn't know about it. But no, the 5th time, that was the 4th time. Now that was 2012. In 2013, I was national champion in the archery, in the indoor. So I took nationals. And then everything went well. I kept on with my archery. I took it very serious. And in 2016, I was shooting 10 points below the qualifying score for the Paralympics. And the cancer returned again. And I got so weak that I couldn't even finish a competition. The doctors told us that MIBG, the treatment that I'm getting, is not going, they can't give it to me. My thyroid is already not working because of the treatment. And the next thing it's going to affect is my bone marrow in my spine. And then I can end up in a wheelchair. So they said, okay, the only thing they can do is they don't want to operate because it's too dangerous. And it was sitting around my aorta. It's a very difficult place to operate. So they gave me chemotherapy, and they actually gave me the strongest they can. And after my whole cycle for the chemo, we went to the doctor, and he actually, on his facial expression, we could see that something is wrong. He's not happy. He just sat back in his chair and he looked at his computer. And my mother asked him, it doesn't look good, what's wrong? And he told us the chemo didn't help. So the only choice that was left is operation. So it's the second time I get the same operation. They cut me open. They actually say that operation is, I found that out afterwards, is more painful than giving birth. So I always tell the woman, they can't tell me that I don't know what pain is. Yeah, and then I recovered from that, and today I'm still, my aim now is my short-term goal now is to win nationals. I want to take nationals this year. And then my long-term goal is to qualify again for the Paralympics. I want to qualify for the Paralympics and I want to go. And it's not actually my mindset is like this. It's not that I want to, I'm going to. That is my mindset. And now people ask me, how do I stay positive after getting these drawbacks in life? How do I stay positive? And people think talking to someone or doing something must immediately help you. That's not how it works. It's a daily thing to stay positive. And I always use the example of a mirror. I still, even till today, people laugh at me. Even till today, I tell them I love a mirror. I look at myself in the mirror and I will tell myself, hell, you are sexy. And that's what people must do. They must compliment themselves in the mirror. In the beginning, it will feel strange. It will feel like, no, this is free. But you're alone when you're in front of the mirror, so you can say what you want. You can be honest with yourself. And the more you are giving yourself compliments, it takes your brain 2 weeks to get used to something. So after 2 weeks, you will start to feel the difference. And if you tell yourself that you're good at something, or if you tell yourself a simple thing, I always tell the people, tell yourself you're beautiful. After 2 weeks, you will look more beautiful to yourself than what you did 2 weeks ago. And that's how I always use a mirror. And the other thing is with my arm, what I immediately did with my arm, when people said your arm is not going to come right, you must, it's even till today, I still believe the technology in the medical field is so good that maybe someday something will come that I can use this arm again. That's how I believe. I've accepted, I know that it's not working, but I still believe and I still have that hope that there might be something that will make it work. So anyone that's negative towards me or negative towards my goals, I shut them out of my life. I don't need that negativity. That's my choice. Am I going to allow it in my life or not? And I want positive people. I surround myself with positive people in my life. Even your friends is very important. And you must surround yourself with people that want to see you happy. They want to see you achieve your goals. They want to help you achieve your goals. Now, my friends, if we go out and we see something, someone do something, like, for example, now with the archery, especially if it's difficult shots or shooting out of the tree or something funny like that, or if it's something that you actually need both arms to do, then my friends will, with me, we will make it a challenge on, but how are you going to do it? How am I going to get it right? So we make it a challenge to get it right and to achieve what people think is unachievable. To like, I always say there's a word in disability that people miss, and that is the word ability. And where you with positive, and that's the thing about your whole diamond beauties is self-love. That is where you start everything with. You have to start with yourself. And that's where it comes to the dependency as well. The moment that you depend on someone or something else, you limit yourself. So you must become independent. And for yourself to become independent, you must become mentally independent. To become mentally independent is the first step. The sooner you can recover mentally from any downfall in life, the quicker you can recover and get back on your feet and move forward. Now, the way to do that is through self-love, by building the self-confidence, by using the mirror method that I use, by uh, going around with people that gives you compliments. Now, there's the other thing is I use this strange quest. One of my friends actually, he actually started it, and he said they had a animal now, I'm a hunter as well. Now, there was a impala on the farm with only one horn. And he said, Dennis, you know what? Actually, you must shoot that one horn. One arm, one horn. It's your friend. It's meant for you. And so we were like, okay, let's do it. So I hunted it successfully. And from there on, we started a quest. Any animal or any buck with a skew horn or a one horn, something strange, something out of the ordinary. That's what I'm trying to hunt. That's what I'm going out for. Because then it's not a random thing. I must work for that specific animal. And I must learn for him. And that gives me an achievement. Once I've achieved that goal, it boosts me again. It gives me this positive outlook again. You've achieved it. And the other thing is, I've actually made the video. It's on YouTube. I have the video on TikTok as well. And everybody can apply this to their life. If they apply this to their life, and I'm going to explain it in a form that women can understand it. It's like the video's name is Change the Formula, but you can make it the same as Change the Recipe. Now, the formula that I'm working with is the same as a recipe. If you preparing a dish or you baking a cake, you want that certain, you must follow the recipe to get the results you want, to get the taste you want. Now, if you are not happy with that taste, you tweak a little bit on the recipe to get a different taste until you get the taste that you want. Now, it's the same with a formula in life. If you set goals for yourself and you don't achieve that goals, there must be something wrong with your formula. So what do? You go back, you look at your formula, and you see, okay, what makes me negative in my everyday, in everyday? What if I stand up in the morning and I'm negative? What caused that feeling? Let me cut it out. Let me replace it with something positive. If it's a song you're listening, or if you don't even listen, sometimes in the mornings when I'm negative, I put on music, and I put on music that changes my mood, that makes me feel positive. Because music works on your emotions. And you have to, if you can control your emotions, that's part of the mental control. It's part of the formula. If someone makes you angry, they control your emotions. And if they control your emotions, they control you. So why do you allow someone to control your emotions? They can say what they want. They can try to make you angry. But if you don't allow them, if you don't allow yourself to get angry, they can't control you. And actually then they get angry. And that's what the archery is teaching me as well. You're competing against yourself. So if you shoot a bad shot, you can only be angry at yourself. But the moment you get angry at yourself, you lose control. And then you're actually shooting worse. So you must be calm. You must get back. You must recover. Mentally, you must recover, get back to step one. And start from the beginning. That's why I use archery as that's my main form for my mental ability to recover. Also, any person gets negative. And especially, I don't get negative a lot, but when I hit the depression or when I hit down, no one can take me out of it except myself. No matter what someone tells me, I won't believe them. I affect everybody around me negative, actually. That's the thing. The people closest to me, I hurt them the most. Until I get to pick myself up. And that is part of the formula. That's part of the thing of getting yourself positive. The more you you motivate yourself, the more you're getting yourself positive. I always tell the people, if you negative it's an energy, positive and negative, that's energy. Now, negative energy drains you more than positive energy. So if you can learn the ability, teach yourself the ability to change negative energy into positive energy, then you're halfway there. Then you're halfway there. And that's what I use through sports. I always tell the people, okay, I use sport and I use hunting, I'm outdoor. Not everybody likes the outdoor. Not everybody likes sports. But then why don't you use culture? Use music. Use chess. No matter what anyone else say. Use what you are good at. Use something that makes you feel good. If you like art, then you paint. And the brain is a muscle. You're not going to see Usain Bolt, a 100-meter athlete, do training for weightlifting if he wants to break the 100-meter record. That's the wrong formula. It's not going to work. And that is the same how you must work with your brain. If you want to achieve something, you must constantly change the formula and adapt to the formula and change it in a positive way. And that's the way how you will mentally become independent and depend on yourself.
Wow, wow, wow. So, ladies, if you love Dennis's beautiful, inspirational, you're welcome to go to the reaction bar and give him a heart. Or, and if you have got any questions, you're also welcome to ask him. So, Dennis, I just want to say thank you. That one video of yours that's on your that you sent me the link, I have posted on the Diamond Beauties.
No, thank you.
And I know that a few of the ladies went in there as well. Cynthia says, so true. Thank you, Dennis. You are a winner. So thank you so much for that, Dennis. You are welcome. Oh, Shiba, I love your purple heart. Dennis, you are welcome to stay the rest of the session. So if you ready, Sunette, and I'm gonna give it all over to you. So before I introduce Sunette, I ask Sunette, will you come and talk to us? I think I asked you in April, and she said, no, I asked you in March, and you said, no, you're not ready. And then I said to her, but I know it's still far, it's still in September. Can I put your name here? And she said, okay, you can put your my name, but and you know what? My beautiful Sunette just surprised me because you are here is tonight. You are ready. When I phoned you, you said you are good to go. So I am extremely proud of you. So inspire us, my beautiful Sunette.
Thank you so much, Nathan. Thank you for asking me to come talk, give us motivation. Thank you, Dennis. You've taught me also something. Hello, everybody. So Dennis, okay. So my name is Sunette Madjane. I'm a mom of 3 boys, and I live in Gauteng in South Africa. And yes, I'm still on my journey, and I'm enjoying it. But I just want to say thank you, Dennis. You really inspired, and you brought something up. And I just want to say this quickly. Make the next 100 days of 2022, make it the best so that you walk 2023 better in than what you left 2022. So this is what comes up when I listen to this whole thing. But what I want to talk about tonight is dependency. We all are dependent on something. And Emerson in 1962 said, when one person is reliant on another for something, then that second person has power over the reliant person. And as Annette said, we are reliant on Eskom for electricity. So yes, we're always dependent on something. But if I can talk out of my own experience, what I've gone through, I was brought up in a dependent house, always dependent on somebody else to provide. Unfortunately, I brought it into my own adult life. And only last year, when the pawpaw hit the fan, I always knew in my back of my head that this is something going on. And then last year, the pawpaw hit the fan, and I realized dependency is a big thing. So I always thought you can't get out of dependency. I didn't know how. Then last year, I started learning that dependency is when you give your power over to somebody, which is, if I just take it in women getting abused, women don't realize it. They're trying to see a way out. But dependency comes down to you can handle it. It is manageable, but it depends on yourself. So where did my dependency start stopping? Financially. I've started building up my financial side to get rid of my debt. And dependency breaks you down as a person. Dependency comes also, as Dennis said, you don't have self-love. I'm doing a course with Sanet regarding self-love. And when I started looking into dependency, the basic thing that came out, if you don't have self-love for yourself, you will always be dependent on somebody else. Somebody else must take a decision for you. If you want to buy a purse, I'm just taking a simple example, then you will say, oh, what do you think about this? And then you will listen. Does this person approve of it? So dependency is can be good and it can be bad, but you can control it. In the corporate world, you can make yourself indispensable so that you can shine out, but people manipulate it. It depends on the person how bad they manipulate it. And all I can say to you with dependency is like looking at yourself in the mirror. If you can start realizing your self-love, that you need to love yourself, who are you going to be dependent on then? On yourself. And that's where you give yourself power. And we all want our power. We don't want to hand it over anymore to somebody else. Life has changed so much. And yes, if I look from where I've come from, what I've learned, and now that I'm in this mastery class with Sanet, I've learned a lot. And I'm not prepared anymore to be dependent on anybody. I want to be dependent on myself and to rather, as Dennis said, inspire people. Get out of your dependency from somebody else. Life is too short. I've seen it. I've seen it since 2016. Life is too short. Don't be dependent. If you really need help, come to Sanet. She teaches you self-love. Start loving yourself to know that you are worthy. And yes, I'm going to start saying now for the next 2 weeks, I'm sexy. So that's in a nutshell. It's just look after yourself and just understand, just know that your dependency you can handle. If you don't know, you know where to knock on. You've got Sanet's number. You know, if you've got friends, go to Sanet. She will help you to get your self-love back. And that's that.
Oh, wow. So neat, so neat. Oh, wow. So give a reaction, ladies and Dennis. Mine is there. So, Sunit, I am so proud of you. I am truly proud of you. And Sunit, for me, I really had to work on self love. It took me 18 months to lose the weight. I lost 75 kilograms or 165 pounds. And I
Wow.
had to start to lose, I had to start with self love. So, can I quickly, Kishiba, before going to, I want to show you, ladies, and Dennis, you can look at us, but I want to show the ladies a power pose. Can I quickly do that? Let me just get this up a little bit. So, ladies, put put your hand, bring it sexy into your hip, bring it up to your middle, and then press out your breast, put up the chin, and feel sexy. And then, ooh, Who in their right mind will say anything wrong to you? So, Dennis, did you like our power post? Okay. Okay, thank you so much. Kishiba, I first heard you. I didn't see your face, beautiful face. I heard you the first time when you were talking. But this lady's accent was like amazing, amazing. And then Kishiba put her camera on. And I have met Kishiba about 18 months ago. And when I looked at her, I actually went to the camera. I always put my camera on because for me, I like to see other people and let other people see me. My husband say it's because I want to show people I've got a hat on. I always wear a hat. But anyway, that's his opinion. It's not mine. But when I looked at Kishiba, she was beautiful. And the message she gave that day, and the message was on self trust. She talked about self trust. I don't know if you can remember Kishiba. I thought, wow, I need to find out more about this lady. I sent her a friend request, and yes, we are friends since that time. Kishiba, thank you for inspiring. It's your second time on the Diamond Beauty, so you've got a 20 minutes slot. So I am going to give it all over to you.
So, you're all hearing me well, right? So I came to talk about something totally different until Dennis spoke. And then Sinette spoke and it changed. Yeah. Because of the, like when Dennis said, the moment you start depending on someone else, you limit yourself. And that's so true. And I just give the story. Like a year and a half ago, I was going through depression, but I didn't know it was depression. I had no clue this is what was happening. I think it started because in September of 2019, I broke up with the person that I was with. We were in a 13-year relationship. What made me mad about that relationship is I never missed the man when I never missed the man one day after we broke up. I didn't even think about him much. And I was angry with myself. It's like, why? But besides that, I also quit a job that I really loved. I love working with the deaf and I love doing advocacy and I love humanitarian work. And where I was working prior to, at that time, it was very, very challenging. And I started getting physically sick. My blood pressure was escalating a lot. And my body started to break down. And I thought I had to make a decision. And after that, about 4 months after that, which was in December, January, I started this relationship with a friend of mine that was a man and woman relationship. And that too was very challenging to cope with. So in February of 2020, I started getting all these feelings and emotions and whatever it was, and I did not pay attention to it because all the time I'm thinking, I'm strong. You know, I'm a strong person. No, nothing can break me. I could deal with this. Until September, it was October, August in last year, when I was talking to my friend who's a psychologist, because I kept talking to the counselor about how I felt. And she said, Kashiba, you're going through depression. And I was like, you gotta be kidding me. We're talking about depression. I can't be going through no depression. I'm too smart for that. And I said all kind of things before I even decided to accept this. And I was in the US at the time and I came back home and I realized that I was going through depression because she sent me all these things that I should have read. And in reading it was, I used to cry almost every single day for a whole year and more. I was crying and I didn't know why. I started feeling like I left the relationship that I was in and I was feeling empty, but I knew it wasn't because I wasn't missing the person, but why was I feeling the way that I was feeling? And I didn't want to accept a couple of things. I didn't want to accept that I was in that relationship for one reason. I was very dependent because I've never been single. At 16 years, I started having a relationship, personal one-on-one with guys. And I was never ever single. I had 2 personal relationships, my children's father and this person. And I was never single from one into another relationship. And I realized I was very dependent on the relationship to help me feel good about me. So even though I think and I said that I think I'm a beautiful woman and I think I'm smart and all that, I depended on him in the relationship to compliment me, and that made me feel good about myself. So by him not being there, I started feeling like I was broken and I just wanted to figure out why. With the job as well, I realized I lived vicariously through the job. So I loved what I do and I still do. I love it. It's a passion. But I realized I was living through that and I was dependent on people saying to me, good job, Kushiba. And that was a real good because it never even made me feel like I did a good job. I just was nice to know that. But inside, it made me feel better. So for me, it was me depending on all these other things to feel good about me as a person. And the relationship that I allowed myself to go into, I was dependent on him to understand what was happening with me and to be able to, I have these emotional challenges that I'm having now. As the person who says you care about me, why can't you just understand that and give me some emotional support? In September of last year, I started this program with James McNeil at the end of September. And during the morning sessions of those programs is when I realized the psychologist was right. And I needed to focus on myself, but I didn't know how to do that. What I'm very good at though is self-assessment. So she says, Kashiba, you're going through depression. I started thinking, what making me depressed? And when I realized I was really missing that job a lot. And it was not just because of all the other dynamics, but I love what I do. How now can I continue doing what I do without being dependent on it to make me feel good about myself? I started thinking of ways to do that. I started thinking of the relationship that I was in at the time. I did not feel good about myself. And we used to argue a lot. We had a lot of fighting. And I joined this club on TikTok, in Clubhouse. And they were talking about toxic relationships and narcissism. And while they were going through the discussion, I realized I have some in those traits that they're talking about people who's narcissistic. It's like, am I really that kind of person? I was depressed for 2 more days because I had to accept that this is part of who I am as well. But then coming out of all of that, I started thinking, how can I adjust and change myself? And in going through the process with James McNeil's program, it was a nice program, but I thought I couldn't continue the program. It's costing me some money and I can't spend money all the time. So I want to focus on doing something that I really want to do. So I went through the program until December. But the booklets that he gave us, in one of the booklets, it asked a question, who am I? And I never thought at that time about who I was. And then I started thinking, but to me, I was here before. And I understood this before. And I started trying to figure out, when did I become so dependent on other people to help me feel better about me? When did it happen that I needed to have a job that was so validating and to make me feel good about myself, or a relationship? And I realized that was all my life. Because as Sunette said, we grew up in a home. My childhood was challenging. And to navigate teenage life, you had to be either strong or dependent. I chose to be strong. But then I had to depend on other people to get me through certain things. And it was something I hated all my life, but was unaware as an adult female that I held on to that dependency. And going through the process in September of 2021, I cried. I cried for a whole month. My cousins had to come and spend Christmas and thing with me because I was in a mess. And they kept asking, Auntie, what is the problem? But I couldn't share what was going on with me with them. I had 2 friends who I was talking about, and they, just as Dennis said, they were trying to give me positive motivations and trying to tell me, think positive, but that wasn't working for me. It's like, I understand what all you're saying, but that not working for me. And as Dennis said, I had to motivate myself. And it's within that moment, I started realizing that I really do not need to depend on anybody, but that one source. Now, I'm not a Christian person, but I'm very spiritual. And I started praying a lot more. So I listened to, just like Dennis said, my music, it was drives me. I love music. So I started listening to gospel that I liked. It was like prayer and worship and song. And I started listening to those songs. And every morning when I woke up, I would listen to it. And that's the method of how I pray. I still do that. I pray through songs. And in talking, it's like you're hearing this voice saying, I will deal with it. But I was so used to thinking I could do things on my own. What's wrong with you? I could handle my own stories. I had to decide at that time, I think it was November of last year, when I decided I'm going to just let everything go and let God deal with it. I'm not going to stress. I'm not going to frustrate myself. My blood pressure was off the hook. It's like 200 and something, over 100 and something right through. And they can't figure out why it's not coming down. I wasn't eating. I wasn't sleeping for months. And everybody was getting worried. And I thought, you know what? I'm going to fix this. And at that time, I decided that I would depend on one source only. And then I remembered, I used to be like that when I was a young woman. I always said to my friends, God has my back and I don't have to worry about anything. And I believed that. I used to live by the serenity prayer because I believe in controlling the things that you can and the things that you can't, understand that and have the wisdom to know the difference. I believed in those things. And at that time, I started wondering, when did I forget these things? When did I allow myself? And then I remembered it was when I thought I could do it all by myself. When I thought I didn't need that help, I didn't have to depend on that source power to guide me through. That's when I thought that. And I realized I had to go back to that whole foundation for me of what gave me strength in the first place, because I am a very strong person. I get in trouble for the level of strength that I have, but I learned to live with it. I'm one of those persons who say to people, I know I was blessed with a level of strength that a lot of people don't have. But I'm proud of that as well because it has carried me through my life. And I think I was blessed with that strength for a reason. And at that time, at the end of November, is when I decided that I'm not going to be dependent on anybody for love or affection or attention anymore. I love myself first. And I decided, you know what, James' program was great, but I don't want to do James' program. However, I used to follow Sunny on Facebook. So when she posted her pictures, she did this photo shoot. That's the first time I saw her, she was saying she's going to do this photo shoot. And she did a photo shoot with a lot of flowers. And everything was so flowery. And I thought that was so beautiful. And I did text her, and I did send a comment that it was such a beautiful, because the pictures were so gorgeous. But at that time, I didn't have courage to take her pictures myself. And she made a comment. She had comment back, and I thought she had a really nice personality. I like this woman. But we didn't become friends or anything. I just continued following her and liking her posts and stuff like that. And going through it, I started to follow some of the things that she do. And I liked, like one of the posts was talking about self-love. And I liked that. And I thought, you know what? I need to do this. And what I started doing in my house, and it's something I told Sinead last week, I like music. So we dance a lot because I really like to dance too. I can't hear music without, but we say whining in Trinidad. I just dance. I want to hold somebody and dance and do ballroom dancing or just whine or just dance because I like dancing. Some people think it's awkward, but I like that because it helps free my spirit and makes me feel good about me. So I really don't think about what other people think anymore. What you see me as is your business. I know who I am. And my cousins started coming by me, and they're fun. They're young and they're fun. And we started dancing in front of the mirror. We started dancing in front of the mirror to all kind of musics. And they're showing me how to do young people dances. And I'm trying to do it, and they're making fun of me because like auntie again old. And I'm just dancing away to the music that I love until it become a habit in my home that everybody does it. my sons do it as well. They listen to whatever and they dancing through the house, and everybody does it in the house. But I didn't think about it that we spend a lot of time in front of the mirrors as well, because in the process of me trying to figure out who I was, I found out what my dependency was on. And in me putting my dependency on the source power that is God for me, I figured out who I belonged to at that time. And I thought, if God says to me, I'm beautiful, I'm smart, I'm all these things that he said I can be, why am I not supposed to believe that? And I started believing those things. And it did a shift in me where people who meet me now, they knew me 4 years ago, they're surprised. Kishiba, you're just so different. And those who are unaware of the change are afraid to communicate with me because they think somewhere lying there is that side of me that's going to lash out, because I used to get angry like a second. I would eat off your head. But now I have this level of calmness because I think more and I pay attention to living in the now. I'm one of those persons who focus on the now and not trying to think too much of the future or think in the past of what happened then. So to be honest, I don't want no letters to write for forgiveness because I have nobody to forgive really. I just say what I have to say and move on. But I just say all of that to say I'm happy that I was here when Dennis spoke. I'm happy that I got to hear Sine speak because I was going to talk something totally different. But it brought me to the point of realizing that sometimes we all have similar experiences, and listening to somebody else's story does help give you that encouragement and that boost. And I think Dennis is awesome. I mean, I'm going to start to follow Dennis on Facebook and thing too. And I love Sine too because of her, like my little cousin was listening to our program and she said, I like that woman. And the one who just jump on it on the thing, I like her too. It's like, behave yourself, child. But I'm really grateful that I was here to hear your stories, as well as you allowed me to be able to share mine. Because prior to now, I could not talk about my experience and how I felt because I was ashamed. I was ashamed to say I went through depression. I was ashamed to say I knew what the problems were because I missed working. I was too dependent on a man to help me feel good about myself, and still was dependent on another one to do the same thing. And I was unfair to him. He was one of those persons I wrote a forgiveness letter to, and I apologized to him for how I behaved with him because I felt it was unfair when I thought it through. It was really unfair to him how I behaved. So I apologized to him. But I'm glad that I was asked to be here as well, because I think, I guess it helped me grow a little more. And as I move forward and develop more in my life, I think these kind of experiences and moments will stay in my memory forever and ever and ever. So thank you guys.
I've got goosebumps. My beautiful Kishiba, I don't know, when I started this whole thing, that He's like the conductor of the orchestra. You will put people in your way, and like now, you just change your whole talk for us, and you have healed yourself. But can I tell you, you have healed other people as well. And this is going to be a recording on YouTube. You don't know how many people God will send this recording way, where they will be hearing Dennis, they will be hearing Sunit, and they will be hearing your story. Because for as long as I can remember, people didn't want to mention depression, they didn't want to mention any mental issues. But that is going to be a big thing going forward. That's why, for me, mindfulness is very important. So, my beautiful Kishiba, I must just tell you, when we did our dance and you were so comfortable with your dancing, and I told you that the ladies cannot look themselves in the eye in the mirror. And Dennis, that is one of my things as well. I'm teaching the ladies to even kiss themselves in the mirror because they need to see how beautiful. And I tell everybody they are beautiful, everybody, because I can only see their beauty because the beauty is inside of me. So, my beautiful Kashiba, please tell us your forever song, and then I will stop the recording, and then we're going to have a dance together. And for all the people that are sitting, uh, 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 this dance, we're all going to stand and dance. And we dance if there's no tomorrow. Kishibaki, why? What is your forever song and why?
So it's Broken and Beautiful. It's from Kelly Clarkson. She's an American artist, I think.
Yes.
And why I chose that one of the songs is because of the lyrics of the song when she's saying, well, you have to listen, dear. You have to pay attention to the lyrics of it because it's a lot that she's saying in this song. And to me, it meant a lot. When she said she's broken and beautiful, I feel the same way. Everybody has flaws, but we have to understand that those flaws are dynamics that make up who we are as well. And if somebody has to love me, they have to love me for who I am with all my flaws and everything. You have to love all those parts of me. So broken and beautiful is me learning to love me just as I am, so that somebody else will learn to love me just as I am as well. And that's why I like that song. But the lyrics in the song, the words of the song is very, it's like one of those things where if you listen to it, you'll really want to dance. And when you'll feel empowered to just jump up and scream and dance and thing and say, yes, that's me, yes. Yeah.
We're going to play it just now. I want to say thank you so much for everyone that have attended. And I also want to say thank you for all the people that will be looking at the recording. You sometimes don't know why you need to be at a certain place at a certain time. Dennis, thank you so much for coming to inspire us. I will definitely look out for you and see if I can see you when I at the archery. My beautiful Sunit, I am so proud of you. You go, girl. I am your biggest cheerleader. I will get my cheerleader things out when I'm dancing. And Kishiba, changing your speech and inspiring us was amazing. Amazing. I'm going to stop the recording, everyone. Let me just